So to start today, we're going to be doing split stance, or we're going to be doing some sort of hingy patterns as our kind of main movement. We're going to start with some fire hydrants. By some I mean specifically 12 per side fire hydrants. We have forearm mountain climbers. I wrote 12 glute bridges, or um, actually going to change that hip thrust to a glute bridge march, which subtly different, but we've done both. Um, in which case, I would like you to do 12 per side. Um, Followed by 4 sets of 8 split stance deadlifts, or B stance. I use those two terms interchangeably. Um, Crossbody is optional, which we talked about before, but I'll go over again. Followed by a 20-second side plank or Copenhagen plank. They're both side planks, right? One just kind of has the top leg lifted on something. So something to consider. And then followed by 4 sets. Everything's main sets are 4. 4 rounds, 4 sets of 10 1.5 goblet squats, 10 push-ups with a row, and then 10 Russian twists. I want to acknowledge some of us, not a restart myself, just did a 300K, 200K, a lot. So my point is, if we're here to recover and move, modify as needed. You have a big workout within the next few hours. You're doing a double day. That's fine. Pre-fatigue is fine, but just know your limits. Bias your run, bias your bike, bias your swim, and use this more as an activation. Yeah. How's your body feeling? Ling?
Yeah, for good,
Yeah.
which is good news.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm always surprised at like how sore my contact points are. Like my legs are fine, but like my feet hurt, my hands hurt. Like those are like just like that's
Yeah,
always where I'm like
the muscles
surprised.
that hold up your torso.
Well, that's but it's almost like I didn't realize until I saw Lisa's post where I was like, oh, so the fact that my feet hurt so bad meant I was in good enough shape to do it, which is weird.
I know what
But
you're saying. Like you
but
would
also
think,
like not something you train for. I was just uncomfortable and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. It was very strange.
you
Um,
just keep going.
I suppose. Yes. Of course you do. But it wasn't something I mentally trained for. Like I trained to hurt on the bike, but my legs hurt, not my hands hurt, and the balls of my feet hurt. And it's something I've learned since, but we'll see if that applies. Um, okay. All right, my friends. Let's just start with some cat cows. The bird dogs. Oh, the usual stuff. Just sort of if you're just getting a bed, I know for some of us it'll be post or after work, right? Or middle of the day. I will say, Joseph, I have been doing yoga at nighttime for 2 days in a row, 2 whole days. I feel great.
I approve.
I'll let you know if day 3 happens, but so far I'm enjoying it. Take your time with these. We'll do 10 or so. All joking aside, if you want to add child's pose at the end of this before your bird dogs, I kind of get it because it feels like it makes sense. But the child's pose can also wait till the end. If that feels better. Out of order, actually. On here. As you're moving, if anything kind of comes up and it feels relevant to address before doing anything, that's fine. If you're still a little stiff or you just want to acknowledge, you did a big event or it feels just a little, you slept funny, that's okay. We'll just make sure that we respect the body when we go do stuff today. We're at 90/90s eventually. I'll go ahead and add one more piece to this sort of, if you want to call it a warm-up check-in. Honestly, I've heard the name for this and I cannot remember, but we've done it before, and that is, I'll show you from the front and the side. We're going to start in a tall kneeling position, right? Basically, like if you're in pew in church. We're going to gently, if you need assistance, you could be closer to one of your objects here. The leg to the side, so foot can be down or up. And so from the side, or I'll show you from the front first, I'm going to go ahead and shift my hips back. Right, so I get a stretch here, maybe kind of up towards the groin, that's fine. So essentially, we're going to be, this is my side angle, right? I'm going to be rocking back and forth. Let's do 5 to 10 oscillations per side. If getting your leg to the side is hard enough, maybe we're just holding that position, right? Or, basically having the leg away from you. I recognize that is or can be, a large ask for some of us. So, looking for kind of a groin adductor inseam. You might even get a little stretch on this opposite hip, which is also fine, but this should all feel manageable, I hope. Once you have 5 to 10 oscillations, we'll switch sides. Recognizing differences per side is totally reasonable. Again, 5 to 10. Good. For our specific warm-up, right? This is this is your, in this case, 12, either 12 total or 12 per side. Movements here. The list being fire hydrants, forearm, so we're in a forearm plank as opposed to a tall plank for mountain climbers. And either glute bridge or glute bridge marches. So for these guys, an option to use the band, I would keep the band on maybe for the fire hydrants. I wouldn't necessarily do forearm mountain climbers with the band. That's kind of awkward, although not impossible. And glute bridges, yes. Band for glute bridge marches, maybe not. So at this point, we've done fire hydrants basically almost every week, right? So that's our tabletop shape, right? Leg kicks out to the side. We're avoiding any major shift of the hips as I lift my leg. So just raising the knee right? Without raising the hips. So these are my hips. For mountain climbers, we've done these before, but just in case, right? You're gonna be on a forearm plank. You can elevate this, by the way. So my sofa's not a great idea, but you get the principle. You can elevate the arms if you needed. And we're gonna be doing 1, 2, right? Alternating, stepping, and then your glute bridge. We know glute bridge marches. That's where we are laying flat on the ground, just like we're gonna hold a glute bridge. And then the emphasis is keeping your hips off the ground versus the height of your knee. Okay. So that's sort of our 3 primary movements with some options to play. So I apologize, not everything is 12. We have 12 per side fire hydrants, 10 per side, so 20 total mountain climbers. And then 24 alternating glute bridge marches for 24 glute bridges. And you repeat that cycle 3 times. So removing the band or keeping the band as needed per movement. Transitioning as needed. I'm fully aware in that for a mountain climber that the hips will shift side to side, but also kind of come up a little bit, potentially, just due to the nature of the low plank position. So keep the hips as low as reasonably possible in those forearm mountain climbers. Good. Emphasis on the glute bridge marches is keeping your hips up. The height of that knee is great, but at the expense of that hip dropping, not ideal. Good.
And for the mountain climbers, was that 10 total or 10 per side?
Sorry, yeah, I realized the format I wrote it made no sense. It is 20 total, 10 per side. Yeah. I actually reposted it, so it makes more sense. I realized when I wrote it, I'm like, I write these things a few weeks out. I think sometimes the main idea is there. Then look at it again and I was like, did I mean that? I have to edit myself. So, and usually I edit way earlier, but not this time. Good. You have the privilege of seeing my mistakes in real time. Um, ugh. Nice job. And with the mountain climbers being so low, I know you're doing fire hydrants. Um, I don't expect anyone to jump in these. It sounds like you had a good time on your ride, I presume.
Pardon?
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah.
We had 8 of us and we all stayed together all day, which was great.
Good. Is that, I feel like with randonneuring, I feel like there are, depending on the course, I would imagine, but I get the impression that staying together all day isn't always a given. Does that make sense?
The the feel is that you every rider should be able to take care of themselves.
Yes.
And if you can stay with the group, then stay with the group.
Yeah.
But if you can't, no one is obligated to
Stay
stay
with you.
with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that. And I can, but it is nice when you can stay. It's nice when you can stay with the group and you can all stay together.
Yeah.
I think it's more fun that way. I think when you posted, or when someone, whether it's Lisa or Elizabeth or someone posted right about the ride, Nikki turns to me and goes, "I love you, but please don't start randonneuring." I was like, "Okay." Is it raining? Apparently, it's raining outside. I'm not sure I'm made for ultra endurance, so that's okay. I think regular endurance is good enough for me for now. There's time to decide, but good. I met some folks who are biking down to Monterey for sea otter, but they're just biking down, they're bike packing down there. And they're gonna go to obviously to it's not a festival, but they're gonna bike down there, which is cool.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. 3 times. Then we can rest. With those planks trying to keep, or the mountain climbers should say, trying to keep the shoulders on top of the elbows, or maybe the elbows on under the shoulders, better way to say it. Right. Nice job. Nice work. Yeah, for any time we're laying on our backs here, right? Glute bridge marches, glute bridges, um, where the arms don't really have a job and they want one, or they're asking for one, it's okay to just hold an object. It doesn't even have to be heavy. It's not just hanging on to something, um, whether it's a lightweight or something else, just gives the bo upper body a job, and that can feel better for some people. right? Good. We're going to take a little just a break. We're going to go ahead and to kind of talk about our split stance or B stance deadlifts. It is 8 per side. Um, if we need to keep it to a two-footed variation, right? So an even plant of the foot as opposed to having a foot kicked behind you, we'll still just do 8 total, right? So this is assuming, let's say you have heavier weight options, a single leg bias doesn't really feel like something you want to do. We'll just do 8 heavier is relative quotations, heavier deadlifts. And then of course, we have the cross body variation. Okay. Before we get there, right, just a quick review of the Copenhagen plank on the off chance anyone's interested to do so. Again, I'm gonna use my couch, which is great because I can't stick my leg underneath it. So nothing in the world, but that's okay. So essentially, I'm gonna try and get my knee, right? And I top my knee on top of the couch. I bend my knee anyway because I want to, but if you're feeling like you want to, you can extend the leg on that and put it on the lower leg. I'm gonna find my shoulder over my elbow, brace kind of from the bottom, and then gonna squeeze and hold, right? Trying to keep my hips as kind of open as possible while doing this. And that'll be 20 seconds aside. I'm aware that with timed stuff and kind of the circuity thing we have going on here, it's okay if you're approximating 20 seconds, or if you want to run your own Garmin or watch or your timer. You can absolutely self-time this. So I will not be timing the two of you individually. Um, this is going to be the movement we do after doing both sides. This is the movement we're doing after our split stance deadlifts. So splits or B stance, it's just a uneven stance, right? It's just a kick back, right? One leg is just kick behind. So this leg that's toward the camera is my deadlift leg. You may carry one weight, 2 weights. I just have one today just because I want to. Well, let's find this is nice, big, and heavy. So I'm going to have my hands holding the sides. I can be here, right? I can bend my knee. Got to change that camera angle in a second, right? If I want to, I can, of course, just two-footed, right? Either have, again, carry here, whatever weight you're carrying, and just have my feet even, and it can kind of go to whatever depth I want to. If I have a dumbbell like this, I'm not going to reach it to the ground. It just makes a whole lot of sense, but use your common sense. The cross body part, this is where we're going to be thinking about bringing. So if my left leg's forward, I'm loading my right hand. This hip is going to stay in a nice straight line. So you shouldn't see any jutting out of your hip this way. And we're going to look about thinking about rotating or bringing this hand or my belly button towards my big toe. So it's just a slight rotation, but it's not rotating. Again, I'm not changing my hip angle too much. It's subtle. You can play with it, but essentially it's same idea, but them thinking of bringing this hand towards my big toe. Okay. But my hip should not be popping out or rotating away. So if you're in a mirror and you had 2 dots, you should see those dots staying in the same plane. We hope. If the rotation or crossbody element's way too much, I respect that. We can so we're just to the big toe where you don't have crossing over the pinky toe. When you're ready, you can toy with, we have 4 sets of this. We're doing 8 per side of our single leg variations. If you want to change this up for whatever reason within your 4 sets, so one set you do crossbody, one set you don't, one set you do two-footed, explore your options. And if you have questions while we're in person, let me know. For me, there's a little more emphasis on a lateral glute or hip. Nice job. Nice job, Risa. Risa, less reaching with the hand. I want you bending your knee if you're going to go lower. I'm going to exaggerate because you're doing a great job. You're actually not doing a huge change, but instead of, if I'm going this, look at the shoulder. Instead of going like this, can we bend that knee? If you want more range of motion. Beautiful. Yeah. So range of motion comes from knee bending versus, I would say, kind of reaching through our shoulder. Good. Nice work. So you have 8 per side. You have a 20-second, either side plank, just good old-fashioned side plank hold, or a Copenhagen plank. Bye. Great job. That's the appropriate response, Teresa. I know it's hard. You're doing great. Range of motion on these aren't set, meaning if you can't get your weight to the ground or you can't bend your knee more, that's totally fine. Yeah, it can be approximately 20 seconds. It'll keep you kind of just roughly count in your head. If it's not perfect, that's fine. Well, timing a side plank for yourself can be challenging if it's on your wrist. That's good. That rotation or that crossbody element is going to come from not necessarily the shoulder, but sort of just I would say that belly button or torso just gently twisting towards the big toe. And then that rotation feels less obtuse with that. Good. Sets of 8. I know the volume on this is high. Resting between sides on the Copenhagen plank or the side planks are totally fine. Doing consecutive or back to back, like right away, at least for me, to you is not a direct expectation. Making sure we're stopping at 4 sets. Yeah, take your time. It's okay. Just wanting to rush these things. It's okay if you're not keeping up with an arbitrary pace that is set. Rest. Nice job. Okay. You may take a multiple minute break. Not that you guys ever do, but you are allowed if you'd like to do so before this next piece. Again, I wrote 4 sets, and I'm aware again that the volume here is high. And so if we need to modify whether it's number of rounds or sets, so instead of 4, making it 3, fine. Or modifying the total volume. So you could do number of sets, or let's say, for example, this list is everything is 10, predominantly for simplicity, but also the volume can be okay. 10, 1.5. I said goblet squats, body weight's fine. We'll talk about those. But that's where you go down, halfway up, down, and stand up. So it's like a little pulse in the middle of your squat. I'm aware this can be cranky on some knees. And it's essentially, you're going to think of doubling in your head. You're going to think about 10 really means 20, like in terms of like perceived volume, and that's a lot 4 times. So it's okay for modifying things a little bit based on your needs. Followed by 10 total push-ups into a row. If we can't row, we don't have a weight, I have a solution there. And then we have 10 Russian twists, right? If you don't like Russian twists, the twisting element doesn't feel good to you. We did a ton of side planks already. Just find another ab piece, core, dead bug, whatever that brings you joy. I'll do 10 of those. Okay. Um, so again, the goblet squats, the 1.5 rep element is can be a lot. So go through I would suggest go through the first set of 10, right? Squatting down. I'll just keep you visual instead of talking. So squatting from the side, full depth squat, whatever you can do. I'm having no weight here. That's fine. Down, half, down, 1. Repeat that again. Down, half, down, 2, until you get to 10. Okay, so at the original rep scheme. If that's not causing you any pain or discomfort, we'll roll into our push-ups into a row. So the element here, I'm going to have one weight only, which is fine. I'm going to have this just off directly to the side of me. So a little off to the side of my, I do my push-up, and that today, I'm going to use my knees today. Come down, right? I can come to my plank shape, row, switch sides. It's 1, push-up, row, 2. We don't have a weight. We could do our push-ups anyway. And we can touch our hip and then repeat. Just switch arms. And then the Russian twists don't need weight, although you certainly can. And with these, I keep my heels down. So I don't lift my heels up, but some people do. And honestly, I don't really need weight here, but if I wanted to, I'm gonna have my hands or my weight at 12 o'clock. So this is my analog clock. I'm gonna just rotate a little to my right, to my left. It's really about these little muscles about here. So a band also works. Put a band around the wrist, resist the band. You do the same thing. We don't need a full dropper rotation because we're not looking for knees swiveling to the side. So options to play with. But let's just start round 1 as it's written. Modify. I'm thinking your goblets with this, I say the 1.5 rep squats as needed. That's kind of where I was thinking modifications might come into play. If that pulse causes some like knee discomfort, take weight away first. If it still causes the same level of discomfort or it's not feeling great, just 10 squats. Stop. Modifying that push as needed. So knees are fine. and 10 Russian twists. And total, just to be clear. Don't do 20. I mean, you could do 20, but that's not what I programmed. And with the Russian twist, yeah, each rotation counts as one as opposed to like 1, 2, 1. Which I know depending on the coach and the athlete, that might vary. So Risa, less about twisting the chest. Yeah. And it's more about, so let's do hands for, do you have your band? The band that you're playing with? Perfect. You're gonna slip that around like your forearm. So you're just kind of holding tension on it. That makes sense? Okay, beautiful. So arms straight. So just a little tension on the band, nothing crazy. Okay. My heels are down. I'm gonna think I just rotate my hands to 1 o'clock. Noon. 11 o'clock. It's subtle, but hopefully it's just this. Make sense? Yeah. Instead of twisting through the low back, it's a hard one to, I find if you have too much weight, it can be a little bit distracting. Yeah, good. You could always come back to noon, right? Or to kind of hands and toes. Good. If you want to add weight back in, Arisa, you're welcome to. But again, we can always find a substitute ab piece if this causes people any low back discomfort. Nice work. Good work. Push-ups. You're not a band for the Russian twists. I know I kind of gave a cue for, but it's if you have one, great. You can hold a towel, a little hand towel. Just a bit like when you do in yoga. Just kind of creating a little tension in the upper body. Good. Heel lift or not on your hip, on your Russian twist is up to you. I just tend to keep the heels down, my feet down. And it's okay to modify your volume. So number of sets or number of reps. I wrote 4 rounds or 4 sets. It's okay to do 3.
Excuse me.
You want to acknowledge there's about 4 minutes remaining. So take with that what you will. Of course, you continue moving. But I also want to respect your time. So as soon as you finish your 4 rounds, or maybe that clock runs down to whatever timer you have for yourself, just do that. Good. You're gonna substitute that push-up with, sorry, the row with the hip tap. It's okay to just do 1 hip tap. You could do 2, but I'm thinking push up, single arm, let's say right hand to right hip, push up, left hand to left hip. That's kind of why I had it in my head as a substitute if we're making substitutions. A double tap is great, but certainly not something just adds time and attention, really. Nice job. Hopefully that was a little recovery piece. Debatable. You can tell me how that feels. Um,
Felt good.
yeah, I mean, you're someone who can tolerate a little, no, I mean, I realize as I say this, you can tolerate volume. We know this. Um, but yeah, it's okay to adjust accordingly. I'm just trying to find that gap between this sort of gap between like, I guess you do this with yoga. You're trying to find the lowest common denominator, but keep it interesting for someone who may be like, what's next? What are we doing? Good. Nice and sweaty. If you're in San Francisco, it is raining, or it was, if you're past watching this later. So please drive safely, put your headlights on, all the good stuff. And if you have any questions about anything we did today, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll do my best to respond. I'm sorry I don't check Discord the same way that people check Slack at work, but I'll do my best. Good work, y'all.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye, Risa. Bye, Joseph. And meeting.